Did you know that there is actually one simple hack that you can do that will have at least half of your 2020 emails written and scheduled in less than an hour? Oh, yeah, one hack. There is one condition that you have to have before this hack will work, but that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Christina Ethridge, and I help entrepreneurs double their email open rates. And you're watching today's episode of The Ribbit Show. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. I am really loving being here with you guys every single week, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Loving it, loving to be part of it. And here's the thing that I want you guys to be aware of. If you want to make sure that you do not miss out on a show, just type the word show in the comments and I'll make sure that I send you a notice each week via Messenger right when I go live. So all you got to do is click on it and you can join me. So don't miss out on another show. But we're going to talk about how to get that stuff done, how to get those emails done for this year. The reason that I wanted to talk about this today, because what's really interesting about January, and this happens every single year for me in January, every year without fail, this happens. I kind of go through this desire to clean, to purge, to organize, to get as much done for my year as possible, especially stuff that I could automate, stuff that I could just go ahead and leverage and not have to think about later. So my question for you is, do you also go through that same process? Do you go through feeling the same way about that? Like when the tree is taken down, the decorations are all taken down. Oh my goodness, do I then I just want to get the house cleaned. I just want to be done with everything. I'm trying to get to so I can see your guys' comments. I just want to be done with everything. And that's what kind of inspired this. I want services cleaned. I want as much stuff that I don't have to do every single day. I want it done and completely set aside. So let me explain. For example, one of the things that I do, I like to have my mornings as efficient as possible. And what I mean by that is I don't want to think a lot in the mornings. I just want to jump right into my most important things every morning. And so I am always looking at my morning routine and I'm like, okay, what can I actually put into the evening? Like, what can I do the night before? What can I actually do kind of in bulk or batch it in bulk? So I only have to do it once or twice a week, etc. And because my morning routine, you probably have heard of the Miracle Morning and things like that. If you've heard of the Miracle Morning, let me know in the comments below. Because the Miracle Morning, I mean, I read it, I liked it, I tried to follow it, but it was just like, okay, this is a lot of stuff that just doesn't fit into the time that I have and into my morning. And when I get up, I can't jump right into this because I've got a dog that needs to go out right away. I've got cats who want food right away, especially when I'm the first person up, because yes, I'm the first person up. But that's what happens. And so I created my own Miracle Morning. I created my own morning routine. But through that, one of the things that I need to do, this is just an example to give you an idea of a little bit of batching. One thing that I have to do is I have to feed the cats in the morning. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to do a lot of thought. Like we have cats that are on medicine. We've got cats that have special food. We have anyway. So I was like, well, what can I do? And I realized that I could actually make several days of their food at once in the middle of the day somewhere. And then I just pull it out in the morning and feed them. Because I don't just give our cats dry kibbles. If we just did that, that would be super easy. That doesn't happen in our house. Anyway, so I'm always looking at the things that I can do in batch and do whatever. So that's one of the things that really inspired today's show was learning how to batch, leverage things that we already have, etc. So the one simple hack that gets half of your 2020 emails written and scheduled in less than an hour, this is what I want you to do. I want you, if you have, now here's the condition. You have to have been sending emails, and I'm not talking sales emails. I'm talking a weekly relationship focused email. You need to have been sending that, all right, in order to do this hack. So if you haven't been doing that, do that so you can do this hack next year, all right? So go back through the emails that you sent in 2019. Go back through those emails. Go look through them like once a week. That's 52 emails to go through. Go through, look for things that are evergreen emails. And by evergreen, I mean things that like, you weren't talking about a launch, or you weren't talking about, a new book that that's coming out, or you weren't talking about a specific event. It's an evergreen. It had a touch of personal, it had a touch of business in it, and it's something you can continue to run this year. Go back through, look for your evergreen emails that you can slightly modify and use them again in 2020. So you have 52 weeks of emails. You should be able to use at least half of those emails. But here's what you need to do with that. Number one, you should not just, use them in order. Like, you shouldn't just pop them in your first 26 weeks if you can use half. Number one, you need to go through and you need to make sure, slightly change the subject line, like test a new subject line, slightly change the texts in the texts in the bodies, the paragraphs. Slightly change that, the first couple words, because if you don't do that, these emails, if you're sent again, if you don't change your subject line and you add these different changes to the paragraphs, they're just going to be threaded in Gmail, and you don't want to do that. So slightly change it, and then go ahead and schedule every other week. So if you found 26 emails that you can send again in 2020, schedule them every other week, leaving the off weeks or the opposite weeks for you to create a new email. And as you're creating your new emails, think about the future. Think about the future evergreenness of them. Because when you do that, you're going to build up this batch of emails that you can send. And let me tell you what I'm doing. I've got 6 years of emails that I have sent on the real estate side of Leads and Leverage. And so I'm going through those emails. I'm making sure that, yes, this is still true, whatever it is, that the personal piece is still interesting, that I'm not talking about my 12-year-old kids when they're now 17, 18, 20. So I'm making sure that it's relevant to today because I want people to get to know me, the me that's alive and well now. And then also I'm making sure that whatever I'm talking about business-wise is relevant, that I'm not I'm not talking about something that's changed. And if it's changed, I talk about the change. So that's what you want to do. You want to do that. And here's the thing, after 6 years of content, emails that I've sent, I've got a couple of years of emails that I could send over and over and over again. This helps you not have to rewrite, as long as the personal information, the personal stuff that you're giving is relevant, as long as what you're training on is relevant, as long as you still have the blog up or the training up or whatever it is you're giving up, as long as the tech that you're training is still relevant. So I don't use any of my tech videos because Facebook changes constantly. Okay. Tech stuff. I don't use the tech stuff because it depends on the platform that you're using. But I do use anything related to strategy. I do use anything related to consistency, to batching, to productivity, all those things, right? So that's what you want to do. That's how you want to do it. Hi, Susan. Hi, Richard. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Mila. Hi, you guys. Here's another thing too. If you guys want the, let me make sure I've got this right. If you want the transcripts from today and any downloads and handouts that I talk about, you can just type handout in the comments below and I will send that to you. You're going to have to go over to Messenger and confirm, and I'll email that to you. It's going to take me 2 days to get those transcripts and handouts and stuff together because, I have to have it transcribed, but you can get it. So you want to look at every time you're doing something. One of the reasons I named my business Leads and Leverage is because all businesses need leads. All businesses need leads. But what we really fail to do in our businesses is leverage. We need to be able to leverage things that we've already done or something that we're going to be doing. We need to be able to learn how to look at something so we can leverage it more than once. So we're not just spinning our wheels and wasting our time and just creating one-off stuff. Now that's going to happen, but you don't want the bulk of what you're doing to be one-off. So that's why. And so that's why we're talking about leverage today, especially when it comes to your emails, because so many of you all are like, I don't know what to say. I have a hard time writing. I have a hard time sending. I have a hard time coming up with ideas. Well, guys, like literally, if you can come up with 52 emails this year, next year, you could repeat 26 of them. Now, like I said, you've got to make the changes that I talked about a few minutes ago. You've got to make those changes. That's a priority. But again, you do that, you got 26 done, and then you only have to come up for 26 the next year. Then the next year. So it's really, you're really cutting back your work. And that's the point. When you're building something, the goal is to build and layer and build and layer and build and layer so that all the pieces work with each other, etc. So that's what we're talking about. Hi, Isabella. How are you guys today? So thanks for joining me today. Talking about how to leverage emails that you have previously written and use them again in 2020. So the simple hack that gets half of your 2020 emails written and scheduled in less than an hour. And yeah, really less than an hour. Like if you could pull those up, it doesn't take more than a couple of seconds to scan through your email just to confirm that the content's correct and still accurate, and then to duplicate that email, make a couple changes, and schedule it. That's it. That's all it takes. So that's what I want you guys to look at and do, especially if you've got content. If you've already got content written, you've already got emails written, this is a huge thing. This is a huge way to leverage your everything, your time, everything like that. So definitely be thinking about that as you're doing that. Welcome everybody that's joining us. If you want to make sure that you don't miss the first portions of the live streams, if you want to be notified and not rely on Facebook's notifications, just go ahead and type show in the comments below. I'm going to be sending out an event reminder via Messenger each week so that you can come to the live show. And so that's pretty much what we're talking about today. And so I have a question for those of you who are on with me right now. I'm curious, and I know a lot of you are probably going to be saying no on this, but I'm curious, or how many emails do you think you have in your email reservoir or archives that you've sent that you could probably look at, revise, and use again this year? How many do you think you're going to have? I mean, how many do you think you have? Like I said, I've got 6 years of emails, so I know I've got probably a solid 2 years worth of emails that I can revise and send for next year. I'm not going to send all those, but I'm going to pull 26 out of it for this year. So I'm just curious what you think. How many do you think that is? What number do you think that is for you? So I know for me, I've got my 26 done. Half my year done. What about you? Curious about that. Pop in and let me know. Hello, hello. This is the part where I'm like waiting for you to hear my question. This is the delay, the live stream delay that we've got going. We've got a lot going on in the business right now, like lots of stuff. There's so many more, as we're launching the new division of the business, I'm noticing that there are so many more tools and faster ways to do things than there were even 6 years ago when we first launched, or 7 years ago when we first launched Leads and Leverage. It's amazing how the tools have changed, how they've modified, how they've improved. And so it's been really cool to be launching this new division and go, oh gosh, we can streamline this, streamline that. The reason I say that, it's all part of my whole January thing that I really like to just purge and clean, but we're actually like moving stuff from one platform to another. And we don't do this. A lot of people do this all the time. Like I know people who have done this 3 or 4 times a year. And I'm like, you're crazy. Just stay on that platform for a while. This is the first time that we've done this in 7 years. We're moving, we're consolidating platforms because platforms have improved and they've gotten better. We're adding things that like, wow, okay, now new layers onto the business, etc. So it's just like, I love that. And it's just kind of I thought that like, Deborah K says, I'm starting all over. Well, I thought I was too. There's a lot I have to build. But there's a lot that's easier now because I have the resources from before. I have the knowledge from before. So that's helpful. And Deborah K, with you, if you're still doing real estate, you can still use the other stuff that you have, just reshape it to fit your new community, the new place where you're at, or your new focus, or your new whatever on there. So totally a thing. And again, if you guys want, I'll be giving out Any downloads that I create, any handouts, the transcripts, etc. If you want that, you can type handout. If not, it's good. It's only for this show. If you don't want this show's handouts, then don't do that. If you do want this show's handout, then do it. That makes sense. All right, you guys. If there's no other questions, thank you for coming. Thanks for having me with you. Thank you for being with me. And I will see you at next week's show, next week's episode of the Ribbit Show. And you can simply, like I said, type show. I will send you a message next week right before the show, like 1 minute before, so you can just click your link in Messenger and join with us. Perfect, Carrie. I actually explain it, where it came from, why I use it, how to use it, what you have to have in place before you can use it, etc. So awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a great day, and I will see you next week. Bye now.